Hello everybody and welcome back to my mini-series called The Story So Far, where I go back and talk about some of the history and the fun facts behind the different videos that I've made over my time here. I've done the different kinds of costumes and masks I've worn. I've also talked about my series called Return To, but now I'm going to be talking about my movie reviews. Talking about every single movie I've reviewed would take way too long, so I'll just give you some insight into my intellectual process of watching movies. One thing I hope people understand when I do these movie reviews is that I'm doing it entirely subjectively. I don't try to be objective at all, because you can't review a movie objectively. All art is subjective. The things that you may think are objective measures of whether or not a movie is good basically comes down to subjective reasoning. You could say, well, the lighting of a movie makes it objectively better than another, but then someone could come along and says, well, I don't like the lighting in this movie. Then who's right? It's all a matter of opinion, so I just completely lean into that fact. I also don't give my movies like stars or number ratings. Instead, I have a set of 7 ratings that I just give based on how I feel at that time of watching the movie. It ranges from terrible, bad, meh, okay, good, great, and amazing. That's my order from worst to best ratings. Again, completely subjective. My opinions change. This is just what I kind of feel about, general word to describe what I think of the movie at the time of watching it, through my subjective manner of giving my opinion. That's not to say I don't talk about the movie. I still talk about like the story, characters, editing, lighting, like I said, different types of things like that. Some of the fun facts about the movie and all that. So I guess I'll talk about some of the series that I've reviewed, because that's pretty much how I do these movie reviews. Not to say I won't review more individual movies, but so far I just feel like it's easier to go through it by series at a time. First series I reviewed was the MCU, and I've reviewed it up to WandaVision at the time of making this video. I started reviewing the MCU leading up to the release of Infinity War, because I wanted to review all those movies and then do a big Infinity War review. And then after that, every now and then, I've just kind of talked about it. After I did the MCU, I did do 2 more Marvel movies, those being Venom and Into the Spider-Verse, since they both came out in 2018, and I wanted to review them because one of them was so bad it was good, and the other is my favorite animated movie. I mean, that should basically tell you which one I think about which. At that point, I had only reviewed Marvel movies, and I'm not a Marvel or Spider-Man channel, so I'm like, okay, I gotta start doing other stuff. So I decided to go through Star Wars, and I decided to do something differently with my Star Wars reviews. I decided to review them by trilogy, and I also reviewed some of the other stuff like the shows and books, at least the things that I've read or the media that I've consumed in Star Wars, in between, and tried to do it in chronological order of the series. So it was just something different. I don't really know if I'd review a series like that again. I'm not really sure, but who knows? After Star Wars, I did Harry Potter. Just went back to more of my, I guess, the normal way I review the movies, just one at a time, and I did, except for the last one, I did Deathly Hallows 1 and 2 for one video. And still haven't done Fantastic Beasts. Maybe I'll do it eventually. At the time of recording this, I have not reviewed them, so I don't know what the future holds. Again, I don't know. Then after Harry Potter, I'm like, okay, let's do something I haven't seen before, because I'd already seen Star Wars, I'd already seen Harry Potter movies. I decided to do Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Embarrassingly, I actually forgot that I did the DCEU before I did the Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, which is something that I acknowledge later on in the video, so sorry about that. I've somehow never seen those movies. They're long. Most of them are good. The Lord of the Rings, that trilogy is actually pretty good. The Hobbit, the first one's good, second one's eh, and the third one is just not enjoyable. I almost forgot to mention the DCEU. Yeah, I think I skipped over that. I'm kind of jumbling them around. It's not something like Return To, which I talked about in the last video, where we play through a game, okay, we're done, next game. It's not like a checklist, but you know what I mean. Like, with these movies, there's more movies coming out. So, because I'm reviewing them by series, I'm kind of jumbling back and forth. I've reviewed the DCEU up until Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, long title, Still have to do Wonder Woman 84 and Zack Snyder's Justice League. You know, this is called The Story So Far, and I'm mostly talking about things I haven't done yet. Yeah, that basically brings it up here. Those are the movie series that I've reviewed. You can go check those out. I can't talk about every single movie I've done, or even the series, because, you know, talking about an entire series, well, some movies are good, some movies are bad, so I can't really give it a general rating. But hopefully, you know, so I've given you some insight on how I review movies. Very subjectively, I give a score that just is kind of whatever I'm feeling at the moment. Yeah, because I don't think you can objectively review a movie. But maybe you think differently. If you do, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all next time with whatever the next part is. Again, I don't know what the future has in store. I actually do know, I just can't remember off the top of my head. So this is kind of awkward. I'm going to leave now.